Apex Online Racing is sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely stream deck. For more information about the stream deck, the link is in the description below.
Buonasera and welcome to the penultimate round of our North American Championship here at Apex Online Racing, coming to you tonight from the thrill ride that is Imola. Now, before we dive headlong into tonight's action, let's remind ourselves of how things looked after last week's race, Shanghai. Lucas Yarn pulled away from Flavio after a 3-lap sprint finish, taking the checkered flag by just 1.2 seconds. They now lead the championship by 10 points. Bizimon has all but cemented third place in the standings, finishing 5th on track. Igor unfortunately retired early into the race, allowing Lars to gain 8 points on them in the standings. Giovanni Santos holds on to 6th for the moment after an astounding surge through the grid, 20th in qualifying. Axel took their 3rd podium in a row, allowing them to jump Jack and Steph in the standings. Steph bagged another 6 points for Alpha Tauri and just 3 points behind the Alpine, pulling away from Sabbath, who finished just 2 tenths behind on track, 8 points now separating the two of them. Tazik widens their gap to Piana, and Shentar after taking P10 once all penalties have been taken into account, and finally Murphy adds another 2 points, their total after a clean race. Now, what does that mean for the constructors' standings? Well, Williams extend their lead over Ferrari at the bottom of the table. Alfa Romeo pull away from the Mercedes, but not by much. Despite Giovanni finishing 4th, Alpha Tauri widen the gap to 23 points, putting them hot on the heels of Haas. Only 3 points the difference between them now. McLaren's score doesn't improve, leaving them 31 points away. Alpine all but guaranteed that 2nd place after taking 10 points at Shanghai. But of course, still yet to finish anywhere but the podium, both drivers at Aston Martin surging towards the 600 point mark, and for the last few races now we've known they are Constructors' champions. So what challenge will they be facing tonight? Well, here it is. This is what our drivers will be facing, and for some of them this will be make or break. For others, it's a chance to experience the unrelenting force of Imola. They'll need to make daring moves if they want to do well here, but 1 foot wrong could spell disaster at this unforgiving circuit. 32 laps of 19 turns over 4.9 kilometers will determine tonight's champion. And I can see our drivers are getting ready. So just to let you know of some changes that we've got in tonight's lineup. Piana is in the Haas tonight. I believe we have Carlo substituting in for someone, although I've just seen some breaking news over the race directors chat. Wilhelm has retired from the season as of about 5 minutes ago. Therefore, Maicon will be sitting in for them for the next 2 races in the Ferrari. So Maicon has been given a place at Ferrari full time. And this is going to be one heck of a deciding race. 1 race to go after this one. That's all there is. 32 laps around this seriously difficult circuit. It's high speed, it's intense, and the track isn't as wide as it looks. I think we're just waiting on a couple of drivers to get to the grid, and then we should be able to get underway. Like there's some last minute engineering happening behind the scenes. One of our Williams drivers. Nothing to report from the steward's office for this week, by the way. And it looks like Maicon has only just been told they are a full-time Ferrari driver. Surprise. Which means that I have to do some last-minute changes. Substituting Maicon in the Ferrari now. So while we're waiting, let's take a look at the standings once again. So 10 points up the top there. Axel just 1 point ahead of Jackie Jack, who I believe, I'm going to double check, is not racing tonight. Carlo is in for Jackie in the Alpine. And we have Steph, who's been pretty consistent all through the season. Scored points in every race bar 2. Although Carlo has proven to be the thorn in their side before now. Okay, it looks like all of our drivers are ready, bar 1. And I'm being told the session is going to be starting shortly. It looks like we're going to have a full grid tonight. A few reserve drivers in, and of course Piana, one to watch. Going to be giving those Aston Martins a run for their money. They've taken first before. Can they do it again tonight? Let's find out as we head down to the track for tonight's qualifying session. There we can see 18 of our racers. We are waiting on 2 to turn up. Maicon, you can see they're in their brand new swanky Ferrari. And I'm just going to have a look at weather center. It is light cloud through qualifying, light rain for the start of the race predicted. So that's what it looks like we will be dealing with. Light rain for the start of the race. So our lead driver is Bulldog, out of the pits first. Then behind them, just coming through Tamburello now, Carlo. Lars is out on their outlap as well. Sabbath just behind them. Finale, Murphy, Giovanni just coming out of the pits now. And this is 32 laps that they're going to be doing around this testing circuit. And you see that corner there, these chicanes really do test how well you can keep that rear wing in line. Bulldog very much showing the difficulties of it there. Like most of our drivers are coming out onto the track. And here is the challenger for the crown tonight, Piana, in the Haas this week. They've been out on track twice before. But we could see them really giving those front runners a run for their money. Same with Giovanni. Giovanni has put in some good times during qualifying. Let's go on board with Carlo, who has just set a 24.2 through Sector 1. Pole time around here looks to be around a low 115, high 114 is what we're looking for. 25.9 through Sector 2. Sabath also setting a very good Sector 1 there. 24.2 for Sabath. Giovanni has already retired from the session. Let's see what has happened there. It looks like they've gone into the barrier, and that's Giovanni starting from the back of the grid tonight. Carlo setting the best lap of them all so far, a 1:15.1. Last 1:16.0. Sabath setting a 1:15.3. Is that an omen? Are we going to have no shortage of safety cars tonight? Who knows? Sabath just flipping the sausage curb there. Using a little bit of control through that corner. Here's Piana. It looks like they are being held up by I believe that's Carl. And there we go. Icon setting their first qualifying lap as a full-time driver. Piana goes P1 with a 1:15.1. But it looks like Igor is on for a good lap as well. It's a 1:14.5. Hits it out of the park. A full 0.6 faster than our current lead driver. But of course, Flavio and Lucas Yarn are out there at the moment. Lucas Yarn setting a 1:14.5. Only 0.02 of a second faster though. Cutting it tight. Flavio setting a 1:14.55. 0.04. It is tight up top. And then there's quite the gap back to Piana. P4 at the minute. Let's see what Fizzimon is up to. They're just coming through Minerale. They're on the mediums to start with. Looking at a potential alternative strategy maybe. Or just getting their eye in on the track. Who knows? .9 through Sector 1, 28.9 through Sector 2. For Fizzy here. Lucas Yarn still holding pole. 1:19.6 their first lap. Definitely not representative of the pace we've seen from them all season. See what Piana is up to. That looks like a purple sector 2 to me. Sorry, purple sector 1. 24.2 on pace as they make their way through Minerali. Taking that a little bit wide, running onto the curb there ever so slightly. Taking the brunt of the sausage curbs there. .25.6 through sector 2 though. And here we go across the line in a 1:14.513, 2 thousandths of a second slower than Igor, 4 thousandths of a second off our top time so far tonight. Let's have a look at Shentar, who's currently setting their time. 10 minutes left to go in this session. .24.6 through sector 1, 4/10 off pole at the moment. You may be seeing yellow flags across the track. Oh, seems to have lost it through Minerali there. And that has cost them dearly. 26.2 time on the clock for sector 2. Looks like there's a bit of a backup. Let's have a look going on there. It's not Icon, it's Bulldog, who's running very wide through there and is pulling into the pits. Gentar going P10 as it stands. Piana still out on a lap, just pulling in now. 8 with 9 minutes to go, sorry. Last 1:14.4. 2 hundredths faster than Lucas Yarn. Igor is on a hot lap. Last letting them through, but unfortunately Igor goes a little bit wide there and invalid. Starcraft has decided against setting a time. They'll be starting from the back of the grid as well. In fact, it looks like they've gone off. Have a look on board Lucas Yarn here. Can't see them, but their car appears to be there. Judging by how much the barrier's been messed up, though, I think they had a little bit of a spin out of that corner and into the barrier, and that's the end of their qualifying session. It looks like Rafa has had a little bit of an issue as well. Everything seems to be fine. Maybe just lost it a bit through the corner. Back to Lucas Yarn, who is 3/10 faster than their current time. 24.0 through sector 1, 25.4 through sector 2. Coming around Rivatsa now. And it's a 1:14.1. A full 3/10 clear of Lars. Lavio currently out on track, 2/10 down on their previous time. See if they can put the challenge to Lucas, because for them this is a title fight tonight. 1:14.16. 6 hundredths slower. But that's all it takes at this track. Looks like Tazik has been disqualified from the session for going the wrong way. and they'll be starting from the back of the grid. So Piana currently on pace for a 1:13. Nope, that is an issue with my timing screen. Ignore that. 24.2 through Sector 1. 0.02 slower than their previous time. They need to find 0.4 of a second through these next two sectors. Start up front the grid. The Gentar there letting Piana through. 0.2 down. It doesn't look like it's going to be a competitive lap. They need to make 0.7 through the final sector. Let's go to Mycon, who has just set a 1:14.8. Where are we? Fizzy, in fact. Fizzy, unfortunately, looks like they took too much of that curb there and has spun out at Minerali. Quite a difficult turn there. A double left-hander into what is uphill. I think we've already seen two people go off there. That looks like Mycon having trouble there. Found Minerali as well. Let's quickly have a look at... Oh, nope, that's not lining up with anything I'm seeing. Let's go to Steph, who unfortunately spun off as soon as we came to them. Commentator's curse, whether you like it or not. So Igor is on their hot lap. Let's go on board with them and see how it's done as they approach two drivers very close through the left, right, and flat out through the final left of Tamburello there. Then it's clipping the curve left, right again. Down to third through Tulsa there. Into Piratella. And a very good line through there. Maybe a little bit wide on the exit, but managing to keep hold of it. And that's the key thing. 24.1 through Sector 1. 25.5 through Sector 2. They're almost 0.2 down on their previous time. This would put them at P4 at the moment. If they can improve further, it may even put them in contention for P3. Into Ravazza now. A little bit skittish around turn 17 there. You can really push that line down the main straight. A 1:14.1 puts them at P3 for Igor there. Let's see if Piana has got a response. No, they are heading into the pits with 2 minutes to go. Rafa gets a 5-place grid penalty for a severe collision with Flavio. And I think that's the end of Rafa's qualifying session there, as Lucas Yarn goes pole with a 1:13.9. Flavio is pulling into the pits due to damage. Murphy has retired in P6, a 1:14.7. They've really been picking up the pace recently. Bass is on their outlap. Can they make it across the line in time? Of course they can. 1 minute 30 left on the clock. And probably one of the bigger contenders. The pole here. We also have Bizimon on their probably closing lap of the session here. That's tail getting a little bit wide there. Steph Farrell leaving it as it is a 1:15.0. Carlo getting a grid penalty for a collision with Rafa. So here's where it's telling. That is purple through sector 1, a 23.9. Yellow flags being flown. What on earth happened there with Carlo? It's difficult to tell, but I heard a crunch. It was a very audible crunch there. Last 25.5 through sector 2. To be fair, dealing with all of that traffic there, and that's the session, so the checkered flag is out and invalidating it on the final corner. A 1:14.1.2. A 1:14.2. Which actually wouldn't have seen them improve. Sorry, 1:14.1, which actually, sorry, I stand corrected, would have put them P2. Micon, the last to finish, and they are a 10th down on their time here. 24.2 through sector 1, 25.5 through sector 2. Very competitive times there. Can they do this for Ferrari? Because Ferrari, bottom of the table, really need the points. It's a 1:14. .4 P5 for Micon there. So your standings for the qualifying, your starting grid, sorry. Lucas Yarn and Flavio up front. Flavio needing to take the win this time round. Igor P3. Then it's Piana P4. Micon in the Ferrari. Brand new driver for Ferrari there. Then it's Lars. Murphy in the Williams in P7. Carlo P8. With that 5-place grid penalty, is going to be going back down the order. So Fizzy will be in 8th. Sabbath will be in 9th. And as we take a look at what on earth happened in that qualifying session there. So, Carlo moving down 5 places. Fizzymon will also will move up to P8. Sabbath will move up to P9. Shentar will move up to P10. Steph moving up to P11. Rafa taking a 5-place grid penalty as well. And as you can see, it is raining. The rain dance has indeed worked. Like our drivers are almost ready to go. So it looks like our drivers are going to be starting on the inters. Changes a lot about tonight's race. This is going to make everything that little bit more difficult. If they thought the rear was getting away from them in the dry, it's going to be even worse in the wet. So, looking at the weather report, a look at the weather station. Light rain for at least the first 15 minutes of the race. And 19 drivers starting on our grid. Quick look, make sure that everything go. So leading the field, Lucas Jan, then Flavio P2, Igor P3, Piana finishing the second row of the grid. Then it's Maicon, and new Ferrari driver, Lars in P6. Then it's Murphy P7. They've been putting in a really good performance the past few races. Fizzy in P8, our current third place. You see just in the background there, Flavio having a little bit of a knock with Igor. That means they're going to be starting on the grid, maybe with cold tyres even, as our drivers start to line up. Towards the back, it looks like it's Rafa who is the last to join the grid. 32 laps around here, and if you thought it was daring before, well, it's even more daring now. It is possible to do this with no stops, according to Pirelli. Of course, assuming that the rain doesn't dry up. 5 lights, and away they go. Flavio with what looks like a better turn off the mark. Maicon moves up to 4th, moving past Piana. And Fizzymon has dropped back down to 10th. Let's wait for the dust to clear here. Fizzy trying to gain some places back. Just keeping Giovanni Santos at bay there. Steph Farrell dropping down to 15th through the first couple of turns. And there is already a yellow flag. It's difficult to tell who. Might just be a case of traffic. Fizzy just clinging on to P10 here. Giovanni really fighting for that points paying position. Further towards the front, we have Shentar with Carlo right behind them. Carlo looking to make the inside line here, and does so. Takes it a little wide out of that turn. Shentar unfortunately not able to capitalize on that, and Fizzy manages to overtake them as well. Giovanni Santos and Shentar now fighting it out for P10. Shentar keeping hold of the points for now. And towards the back, Steph making the pass on Lundqvist. Let's head to P5, because Piana is just going round the outside of Maicon there. Manages to get it done in time for the turn. Of course, none of our drivers are going to be using DRS here, because we are in the wet. We are on intermediates. This could just be straight racing start to finish, no pits. It's unlikely, but that may happen. And it's a yellow flag towards the back. It looks like Starcraft has had a little bit of a spin there. That has put them right at the back of the race there. We are experiencing some issues with our timing board, by the way. Can but apologise. It looks like Lundqvist. There we go. It's fixed itself. Let's head back towards Carlo, who is right on the tail of Murphy. Lundqvist getting a 3-second penalty for their troubles. And down the home straight into Tamburello. And it looks like Carlo has managed to go round the inside. And once again gains another place through that turn. Giovanni Santos is in the pit. What I could assume is wing damage there. Yellow flags being shown through Tosa, just purely due to the amount of cars that are compressing through what is essentially a hairpin there. Carlo picking up a 3-second time penalty, as is Shentar, who was one of our drivers who was praying for rain today. Icon taking that really wide through there. That's definitely going to be a warning. No question about it. Towards the back, Fizzymon is on the tail of Murphy as Lucas Jan sets another fastest lap. Igor is making time on them, though. Fizzy closing the gap down 3/10, 2/10. Fizzy just going down the inside through turn 1. Manages to get the pass done through turn 2 and 3 of Tamburello. Is now P8. 2 seconds the gap to Carlo, though. Murphy half a second behind. Towards the back, it looks like StarCraft has spun out again. Allowed Giovanni Santos to pull away. Igor, currently the fastest on circuit. 1:24.6 last time round. 2/10 faster than both drivers in front of them. Could seriously challenge for the win here. We know they're capable of getting on the podium. We know they're capable of giving the Aston Martins a run for it. And Lucas saying, no, it's my fastest lap. A full 5/10 faster than Igor there. Let's head towards the battle for P11. Tazik is closing in on Sabbath. Down the home straight and into Tamburello. As Lars has managed to make the pass on Maicon, by the look of it. Little bit shaky there out of Villeneuve. Manages to hold on to P5. Very slow out of Tosa, though. And Igor is closing fast on Flavio. And those warnings we're seeing are starting to stack up. Lars with a 3-second time penalty. Carlo with 6 seconds to their name. Rafa making the pass on Finale. Is now a full second behind. Looks like Finale's got some trouble. What is going on there? Def managing to sneak through as well. No sign of any damage Maybe it was a little bit of a wobble through there. Carlo now just 3/10 behind Maicon, but up towards the front. Igor chasing down Flavio within a full second. Finale getting 5 seconds for speeding in the pit lane. There must have been some damage there. And Lundqvist taking the pass. Bizimon being flagged. What looks like a bit of a corner cut there. Really hoping those warnings don't stack up, because Murphy is less than 3 seconds behind at the moment. And it looks like Giovanni Santos. Nope. Nope. Green flag. We're good. Everything's fine. Thank you, base control. So the key battle on circuit at the moment is Carlo, who is nose to tail to Maicon. And in these conditions, a late break can mean disaster for Carlo. They've got to be very quick on their reflexes there, as it looks like Finale has got off the circuit there. Carlo racking up yet more penalties. Now 9 seconds to make up. Finale's back on the circuit, but now pretty much more than a lap down from the lead. Taking that corner very wide, and that's why the end plate's gone. That downforce, they're going to have so much difficulty going through those corners. Chentar closing down on Murphy. Murphy taking quite a wide line through there. Playing defensively right now. They come up to Ravazza for the 9th time. Chentar managing to keep within half a second of Murphy here. And of course, we're going to see some fuel conservation going on as well from our drivers. Driving in these conditions really will put our players' fuel efficiency to the drivers' fuel efficiency to the test. Steph Farrell currently in P15. They want to continue their streak of points finishes. They are a good 15 seconds off the pace. We can see Finale has pulled over in the pits. They've said enough is enough. So as it stands, 25% of the way through the race, Lucas Jan is leading by a good 3 seconds over Flavio. Currently going to be increasing their lead by 6 points. Igor in P3. Will be closing that gap to Fizimon, but Again, it's quite a climb there. Carlo now with 9 seconds of penalties, in fact going to be looking at being in P9 at the end of it at the moment. It looks like we're experiencing some difficulties with our marshalling system as well. Flags being shown quite late. At least on my end. Carlo closing the gap to Maicon, but hasn't been able to make the pass for the last, what is it, 6 laps now? 3/10 the gap through there. Seems like they're losing all the time on corner exit. Head further down the grid to Sabbath, who is on the back of Shentar, who themselves is chasing down Murphy right now. Oh, and the Bulldog has dropped 2 places. Don't quite know what caused that there. Maybe they took the corner a little bit too wide. Carlo getting another 3 seconds of time penalties for their trouble. Maicon closing the gap significantly on last, down to just half a second now. And there is a Red Bull holding them up. Blue flags being shown. Like it's Giovanni. I think that's StarCraft who's gone off there. And they've got no wing. Maybe a slow, gentle ride back to the pits for StarCraft. Back to Maicon, who is 7/10 from last right now. We're reaching that point in the race where our drivers... it looks like the rain has stopped. The track is still wet, though. Our drivers are going to need to make a decision fairly soon as to what they plan to do. Their tyre strategy. Lars pulling past, well, attempting to pull past Giovanni there. Who's been shown the blue flag for what feels like an entire lap now. And Lars managing to pull away from Maicon. Maicon managing to pull away from Carlo. Looks like the drivers are slowing up a bit. And those gaps extending. So, up front, as we reach halfway through lap 12, is Lucas Yarn, current championship leader. Currently extending their lead by quite the margin. 10 points up to 18. All they need to do is score 6 next race to guarantee them the championship. They keep this up. Igor in P3 chasing down Flavio, who is 3.5 seconds back. Then it's our reserve driver Piana in the Haas. 1.5 seconds back there, and it looks like gaining by about 1/10 a lap at the moment. If they were to keep this pace up, they'd be in striking distance with 3 laps to go. Then it's 3 seconds back to Lars, who has a 3-second penalty. Maicon, 2.5 seconds back from them. They're a brand new full-time driver for Ferrari for the last couple of races. And it's Carlo who keeps going wide. And is that Lars? That's Lars who has lost their front wing, and that is disaster. It looks like they lost control of the car and went into the barrier. Thankfully, they are still in the race. But this pit stop is going to cost them some serious time. Stay on board and see what happens. Well, it looks like some of our drivers are going for medium, so this may have been opportunistic. The RS is enabled. And it looks like this front wing change is only going to cost them about 5 seconds. All told, as all of our drivers look like they're changing to mediums. Our front 5 are still going to have to do another lap. The last only really dropping 3 positions here, and is going to be gaining some time on Maicon over the course of this lap. Piana within DRS range of Igor. They decide not to come in this lap. It'd be a very interesting strategy for them. Not managing to get the activation. Not that it matters anyway, as everybody is pulling into the pits for dry compounds. Maicon included, who gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Of course, the Aston Martins having to double stack slightly means Igor is now right on the tail of Flavio. Piana opting for the softs. 17 laps to go. It's a risky strategy. But maybe they're thinking if they can get track position early, and they can get pit later on. Carlo managing to get the pass on Maicon whilst they're in the pit lane. Starcraft deciding no more is needed. Fizzy now on the back of Lars here. Just 3/10 separating them as they go through Tosa. And I think that's Starcraft causing the yellow flag there in Sector 1. Yes, that's on track. It looks like that retirement wasn't by choice, as Lundqvist sets the fastest lap of the race so far. But of course, Giovanni setting a 1:18.9. Piana looking to make the move. And it's too wide as we go through the chicane, and it's back and forth between the two of them. Piana on the softer compound, but it doesn't seem to be paying off for them just yet. They've got the pace, but they just can't make the move on track right now. Of course, Igor's going to have DRS off Flavio here. He managed to keep this pace up. Coming through the Sector 2 line now as we are halfway through our race. Lars getting yet more penalties. Sandwiched as they are between the two Alpines. Lucas Jan sets the fastest lap of the race. That extra point is going to help them in the long run with it being so close up top. Lars actually going round the outside on Carlo here, looking to make the pass. Oh, and it might have cost them. It might have opened the door for Fizzy. No. But it looks like they didn't have DRS through there, which has allowed Fizzy through. Lars is now P8 up towards the front. And our train of 3 cars, Piana has now moved up to P3. Igor currently sitting in 4th. Piana, as I said, giving those Aston Martins a run for their money. And all this fighting is not helping Flavio's title chances. A full 6 seconds the gap. The front now. Igor looking for an opportunity through Ravazza. It's not coming. Are they going to get one down the home straight here? DRS wide open. Oh, Flavio. Piana's managed to make the pass on Flavio here. And they are now P2. They're on the podium once again. And now Igor's nose to tail with Flavio. See what they can do as they come through Tosa there. Huge battle between Lars and Carlo, and it looks like Lars has retired from the session. They've gone into the barrier, and that's the nose gone. And that's the end of their race. And unfortunately, for course yellow, safety car is out. This is going to bunch up the pack quite significantly. How widely spread everyone is. Those penalties are going to come into play quite significantly now. Maicon diving into the pits. Piana diving into the pits. Lucas diving into the pits. Flavio taking the lead of the race. Not wanting to double stack with their teammate. Knowing full well it will cost them quite a bit of time here. Carlo opting to stay out. On the mediums, takes P2 for the moment. Of course, those 18 seconds of penalties are going to come into play at the end of the race. With everybody bunching up behind the safety car. As we saw last week, they can mean quite a bit. Have a similar scenario. So just 15 racers left in. A lot of them taking the opportunity here. Out towards the front, it's Flavio, whose mediums are 3 laps old. Possible they'll see them to the end of the race. They're going to need some serious tyre conservation to do so. And then it's Carlo. Lucas Jan, currently P3. And it's Piana, Igor, Icon in P6 with 3 seconds of penalties. Then it's Fizzy 7th. Murphy in the points, P8. Gentar in the McLaren, P9. And then Sabbath rounds out our points paying positions at the moment, P10. As we can see there, Flavio and Carlo yet to pit. Giovanni Santos and Lundqvist Bro also yet to pit. They want to take the opportunity of this safety car window. Gonna have to do it soon, as the majority of the drivers are bunching up. It looks like, if I'm not mistaken, that's a Red Bull between Flavio and Carlo. That small amount of traffic, although they're going to be blue flagged throughout, that small amount of traffic is still going to cause problems for Carlo and those behind. Go into lap 20 here. Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. Now, is Flavio going to press their advantage here? Safety car stays out another lap. Are they going to pit for a fresh set of softs? Who knows? Looks like the safety car is staying out longer, so let's see what Flavio's play is here. Sticking with the alternate strategy, okay. This could be interesting. Going to lap 21 now. Towards the back of the field is Tazik and Steph Farrell. To the Red Bull of Giovanni Santos and Lundqvist Bro. Both a lap down. That's why you see such a huge gap to Carlo there. We go to Lundqvist Bro now. You can see that they are sandwiched between the Aston Martin of Flavio, the Alpine. 2 rear running drivers, both a lap down. Then it's going to cause problems. It's going to allow Flavio get away a little bit quicker. Have a look and see what's going on. Okay, safety car is coming in this lap, so Flavio is going to be holding starting pistol here. Lucas Yarn, that everybody's eyes are on right now. 3 cars separate them from their teammate and rival, and extending their lead in the championship. As we go green on lap 22 here at the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. And Lucas Yarn going around the outside of Carlo here, looking for the opportunity. And there's been an issue. It looks like Igor has had some serious damage. The front wing is gone. And there goes another of our contenders. And they've left session. So, Piana moving up to P4. Fizzymon moving up to P5. Mycon stopping and changing as they're 3 wide. Coming through the Sector 2 line. Really clipping that corner. It's going to do a number on the underfloor there and take it wrong, and that wing is gone. Sabbath going up the inside, managing to take the sneaky little pass on Mycon there. Can they hold it? Mycon has gone into the pits. What has happened? Going in for some fresh tyres. It looks like a wing change as well. Up towards the front. Piana is now P3. Lucas Jan has moved up to P2. Carlo has dropped down the order significantly. With 9 and a bit laps to go here at Emilia Romagna. Fizzymon is right on their tail. There is definitely going to be a steward's inquiry after this race. Looking at some of the things that's coming from 2 of the drivers that have both been pushed out of this race. Both Lars and Igor, very prominent drivers in this season. Both calling for a steward's inquiry into Carlo. It wouldn't be the first time they've been in the steward's office, as Fizzymon makes the pass. So, current order is Flavio out front, then it's 2 and a bit seconds back to Lucas Jan, who currently holds fastest lap. Then it's Piana in P3, one of the reserves. Fizzymon P4, Carlo right behind them. Then it's Sabbath in P6 at the moment, although after those penalties are applied, they're certainly going to be moving up in the order. Zeke currently P7. Murphy in P8. There's a lot of jostling with the system right now, whilst it tries to figure out who on earth is where. As Fizzy picks up a time penalty. That is huge for them. It means not only are they going to need to pass Piana if they want to get a podium, they're going to need to clear them by a full 3 seconds as well. Here we see Steph Farrell closing down to Zeke. Just a 10th between the 2 of them. So it's a three-way train. Zeke leading, but with that penalty. Then it's Steph, who's been keeping it fairly clean throughout, and then Murphy just behind. They can keep this up. They will move up to P7 at the moment as Murphy tries to make the pass down the inside and succeeds. Murphy moves up to P8. Is now on the tail of Tazik. Now, although Igor's just moved up to P12, it looks like that might be an AI driver, so Igor will not be scoring any points for this session as it stands. Lucas Jan now closing the gap to Flavio. Just a second the distance. Murphy making the pass on to Zeke is now P7. Now it's a full 1.5 seconds to Sabbath. There's a yellow flag flying through Sector 1 and Sector 2. Carlo, yet another penalty. 24 seconds of penalties, in fact. Which I believe, at this point, is enough to see them out of the points. Up towards the front, though, Lucas Jan is only 5/10 behind now as they come through Vivatsa and into DRS. And this, where the pass for the championship is going to happen, whether Flavio likes it or not. Down to a 10th, down the inside. Flavio manages to hold on for now. All he has to do is hold on just long enough for those softs to start wearing out. They are 7 laps into an ideal 10-lap lifetime. But Lucas Jan is not letting up here. Coming into Alta. Just 4/10 the difference. It looks like Flavio was slightly quicker off the line there. To Rivatsa. There's the DRS detection point. Lucas Jan is going to have DRS this time round. Just 3/10 between them. Surely this gap can be made up. Down to 2. Down to 1. As we come into Tamburello, Lucas Jan leads the race. That's going to see them 8 points clear at the moment. A full 18 points. Will separate Lucas Jan and Flavio going into the final race of the season if this is how it stands. With just 4 laps to go after this one. Let's head to see what Tazik is doing. Full second behind Steph. Kentar's managed to make a pass on Igor there. Steph taking quite a wide line through there. Possibly to avoid Giovanni Santos. Although they're ghosted, can't entirely rely on that at all times. Flavio now 6/10 behind up front, with Piana just 2 seconds further back. And it looks like Murphy has gone off track. They've moved down to P9 now. Still within the points. Let's head up to Sabbath, who is right on the heels of Carlo. Carlo, as we know, with 24 seconds of time penalties and, of course, pending stewards' inquiries by the look of it. Carlo running very wide through that turn, which allows Sabbath through. Sabbath goes P5. Oh, Carlo making the pass again. So it's a race on circuit between these two, but once the penalties are applied, it's going to be a very different story indeed. As Steph moves all the way down to 14th. What has happened? There's no way that's correct. Absolutely no way. That's almost a full lap that they've dropped. Yep, okay, good. But Sabbath making the pass up the inside on Carlo. Coming into Ravazza now. Carlo maybe just opting to give them DRS here. Opting to let them pass to gain DRS here and try and slingshot past. It does feel like a bit of a pattern forming as they come up the inside. DRS wide open. We are on lap 31 right now as Giovanni picks up another 3-second time penalty. So as it stands, Flavio is just 5/10 behind Lucas Jan. As I say that, it moves up to 7. Close race on circuit right now is Sabbath and Carlo. Pardon me. Carlo seems to be fighting this by pretty much taking turn 17 very wide. And then taking the DRS as we go into the final lap of the race now. So let's head up front. Where Flavio is 7/10 off the lead. Then it's Piana in P3. The fight at the moment is between Sabbath and Carlo on track. 7 seconds behind them is Steph with Tazik 1 second further back. But of course, 6 seconds of time penalties to pay. And in fact, it looks like Carlo is going to be going down to at least P9 before the stewards even have a conversation. Sabbath closing that gap now as we come the last few turns of the race. Up through Minerali. .4. We go into the back straight here. Lucas Jan takes the checkered flag. Flavio in P2. Piana P3. Busy comes across the line in P4. Now between these two, we know Carlo is going to get 24 seconds of time penalties. What is that going to do? Well, it seems like Steph going to move up to not finish the race. Icon comes across the line now, takes P8. Bulldog taking the checkered flag. Murphy takes P11. There we go. It's fixed itself. Steph, P6, after all is said and done. And that's the race. I have a feeling there are going to be words. And there we see a familiar sight. Lucas Jan taking the checkered flag and the trophy. Flavio P2 and Piana taking 3rd place. Podium. Breaking Axel's streak there. So final confirmation of those results. Fizzymon finishing in 4th, Sabbath 5th, Steph Farrell in 6th. And it's Tazik, Carlo, Mycon, and Bulldog with Murphy's Law 11th, Gentar in 12th. And then it's Giovanni Santos. Lundqvist, everybody behind that did not finish. Quick look at your racing incidents, because I have a feeling they are going to be needed. A ton of penalties out there, a ton of corner cutting penalties. We go back and have a look at what happened there. So Lucas Yarn extends their lead at the top of the championship. And already there is talk of quite the appeal to the stewards for at least 2 of the drivers tonight. So let's have a talk to some of our drivers out there tonight. I'm going to start off by bringing in someone who I haven't had the pleasure of speaking to yet over this quite long season. And it's Tazik. Tazik ending up in P7 there when all was said and done. Quite the eventful race, I must admit. How was it for you out there on track?
You know what? It wasn't that bad. Maybe like my first ever actual race here. I did like about 20 minutes of like time trial just to get the hang of it. So I'm pretty happy with the result, like overall.
So when you say your first race here, are you talking first race at Imola or like...
Yeah, first race at Imola, like ever.
Right, okay, so no, not really much previous on this track. To come out P7 after all is said and done is no laughing matter. Obviously, some interesting strategy changes during the race. We saw the safety car come out at least once. And then we also had a wet race. How was it driving in the wet at Imola, having not even experienced it before? Hello?
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah. Honestly, the car felt more stable in the wet because I was running like 10-8 wings, I think. So I wasn't really pushing, just trying to keep it on track. There was people around me were making mistakes, so we were just picking up positions here and there until the the rain stopped. Well,
picking up positions here and there you did. Ending up in P7 by the end of it. We've got one more race to go. That's Interlagos. How are you feeling about that?
I like Brazil, but it's not really... The middle sector pretty much kills my entire lap time, so we'll see what we can do there. But overall, I like the track. It's pretty fun.
So, at the moment, in the driver's standings, you are currently 12th. sitting on 41 points, and then there's quite the gap back to Shentar. So a fairly secure position for you at the moment. Was that where you expected to be towards the start of the season, or did it kind of live up to your expectations?
I thought I finished a little higher, maybe like definitely in the top 10, but had a lot of DNFs this season. Just from pushing too hard, overdriving, making mistakes, hitting walls. I got collected like, I think, what, twice by someone else, but yeah.
Well, I mean, this is probably I think this is the first time we've actually heard from you this season, so anything else you want to say about the season as a whole before we head into the final race next week?
Yeah, actually enjoying racing an actual league compared to like just regular multiplayer, just because people were actually pretty quick and plus clean racing. Learning a lot, trying to get faster, so been a pleasant season, I guess.
And are we going to see you back for season 23? You reckon?
Yes, sir.
Well, Tazik, fantastic race out there today. P7 overall. Thank you very much for coming out and talking to us, and we'll see you next week at Lagos.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Tazik, everybody. So, who else have we got out there at the moment? Let's have a look. Bring in Def Farrell, who has gone from strength to strength this season so far, finishing in P6, just behind Sabbath there. It was a bit confusing for us towards the end because the timing screen just kind of put you all the way towards the back. But with those points, you have jumped both Jackie Jack and Axel in the standings. How do you feel?
Well, honestly, at the beginning, I wasn't expecting much because I went all the way to the back because I went wide on a turn 5. I want to say the second chicane on the first sector. Like, I just tried to brake and then just my front tires just locked and I just went completely into the gravel. So after that, I was kind of just stuck and my inner space was pretty abysmal. But as soon as it dried up, I started coming back up, and I think I was just consistent enough that I managed to climb my way back to P6 and take advantage of people having incidents, I think. So overall good result, and I'm gladly appreciated points coming up to the last race of the season next time.
Well,
which is a track I like more.
Well, yes, speaking of the last race of the season, into Lagos, what is kind of your, you said you like Interlagos, where do you see yourself where do you place yourself going into Brazil next week?
Well, it'll all depend, I guess. If I don't get taken out or get into trouble in the first few laps, I think I can run a solid race, but probably somewhere in the upper midfield battle, probably, you know. Again, I don't expect to see myself really high on position unless something big happens up front. But I do want to be consistent and want to be quick, so we'll see how it ends up. It is a track I like. I like the flow of it. I've done, in terms of pace, historically decently there. I'm not too slow at it. I'll have to see for this game. I won't be able to practice a lot because I'm working now, so during the week, so I'll have to figure out practice somehow.
Well,
but yeah.
Well, speaking of unpredictable things up front, a wet race and a safety car. Now, how did that affect your strategy tonight?
That safety car literally saved my entire race because I was way down the order in the interstint. As soon as that safety car came out, I was like, oh, Okay, cool. I can actually race for something now. Cause yeah, we were on the I was on the dry tires and picking up pace behind Tazik. I think I overtook him at some point. Even though it was quite difficult. He was battling a lot despite the penalty he had, but oh well. But essentially, the safety car brought me back into the race essentially and allowed me to pick up the points I did, because essentially after the safety car restart there was a couple of let's just say spicy incidents up front.
Yes,
I'm going into Aqua Minerale and I see 4 cars just all over the road. And I'm like, oh, well, I expected that to happen.
I've been seeing the fallout from that in the drivers gallery. No doubt there'll be something popping up in the stewards later in the week.
Probably.
But as it stands at the moment, P6 on track, bringing you up to P7 in the standings. Well raced out there today, it's got to be said.
Well, it's like I said, you try to keep yourself out of trouble and take advantage of the people that do get themselves into it. That's basically my whole philosophy. And this time it worked out.
And
yeah.
Carry
on.
Speaking of keeping out of trouble, you managed to get through that race without any time penalties, which is more than can be said for most tonight. Is Imola a track that you're like one that you've got kind of learnt by rote, or was it a fairly new track for you?
Okay, so I had driven it in other sims before, AC and Competizione basically, so in cars. So I kind of knew the layout, but in terms of pace, I was actually struggling a bit during practice compared to the other guys, but I think in the race I was cautious enough that I just avoided the penalties, because I knew, judging by how many I was getting when I was practicing in time trial, that I knew that a lot of people were going to get penalties, and sure enough, there were plenty of track extension penalties flying around this race. Just ask Callow how those went.
Well, I don't think I'm going to, considering what's going to be happening over the next few days by the sound of it.
Yeah, that was, I think he was trying to contend for most penalties acquired in a single race there, but
well,
he's cool. I like him. He's a cool guy. He's a bit bonsai behind the wheel, but he's a cool dude.
Well, when all is said and done, a fantastic race out there for you today. Steph, everybody, thank you very much.
All right. Yeah, viewers, have a good one. Ooh.
Steph Farrell there, who has continued to show consistent points finishes through most of the season. As I said, we're in round 15, 13 of the races scoring points, and tonight, I believe, P6, which is their best points finish of the season. No, I stand corrected. You've had a P5 before. Oh well. Let's get Murphy in here. Murphy, I've got to say, it was seriously competitive out there from you tonight. A very good qualifying time, and then I don't know what happened towards the end there, but I just saw you falling down the order.
Yeah, been down race, Tipster. I want to mention qualifying, because I think that was the most perfect lap I think I've ever hit in this game, because I absolutely nailed it. I'm not gonna lie, I absolutely nailed the lap, and then the race came, and then I was just trying to survive, to get to the dry, just survive and hang about. And let's see, we had a safety car around, like, I forget what lap, but I was running 9th, just kind of just biding my time. And then we hit the safety car, and then I thought about staying out because I felt really good on the mediums, but everyone came in for softs, so I felt everyone softs. And then I went for over in overzealous, overambitious move against Mycon and Aqua Minerale, and it worked today in F4. So, but I thought I was like, well, if it worked in F4 today, I bet I can do it again, and well, it didn't. So I ended up taking him out, damaging his wing, spinning myself out, and then that was pretty much the end of my race because I was up at 7th at one point when I recovered, and then I spun out again, hit the wall head on, didn't DNF this time, which I'm actually, if there's any silver lining to this whole race, is that I didn't DNF. But yeah, Tipster, it was pretty up and down. I'm not gonna lie.
It has to be said. I mean, given it was a wet race to start, and then moving to dries, and then a sudden safety car, that's got to do something to your strategy and your reactions, right?
Yeah. It was really a guessing game because you don't know when you're going to pit for dries, and then when it started to become dry enough, it came for mediums, right? So it's just mediums, and now you're just kind of racing again, and then the safety car comes out, and then you're like, okay, so do we pit again for softs, or do I stay out and get track position? And honestly, I did thought about staying out and gaining that track position because I think I was fast enough on the mediums to just stay ahead. But I thought maybe if I get the softs, I'll just try to work my way through the field again because I did feel like I was fast enough to get back up there. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to ponder on it this week about maybe if I just stayed out in the mediums, maybe I could have had the track position, maybe could have had a podium, maybe could have was up there. But I mean, it's definitely going to be in my thought process for a while if I would have stayed out.
Well, shoulda, woulda, couldas aside. Interlagos next week. Now, no points tonight as of yet, but going into Interlagos, what are your thoughts? What are your feelings? What are your expectations?
Well, I can guarantee there's going to be at least a safety car. Every league race I've done there's been a safety car. So you can expect a safety car. It's going to be a two-stopper. I mean, you're going to have guys starting on mediums. They want to go to hards, thinking it's going to be a one-stop and there's going to be no safety car. No, there's going to be a safety car, okay? I'm putting this out right now. There will be a safety car. If it's me that's going to be the safety car, then so be it. But I'm just saying right now, there's going to be a safety car because that track breeds safety cars for some reason. I don't know why, but it's like the nature of the track has such a, I want to say it's very, it's like a roval for Formula One, like Daytona, because it's basically like a one long left hand turn, and you got your little infield section, and then it's just like a giant straightaway. So it's gonna be nuts. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be the last race of the season. You're gonna have people going out. I mean. I will say though, if Callow is racing next week in that race, I'm gonna bullet bill him into Saturn because he was an absolute just projectile today. He about took me out. I almost pulled a Lewis into the hairpin up down the southernmost part of the track. But yeah, he's not on my Christmas list right now.
I think he's not on many people's Christmas list right now.
No, he's not.
Judging by things that I've heard from the drivers' gallery tonight. But I mean, talking about Carlo there, how do you deal with that kind of racing? What is kind of your mindset going into that, knowing now?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say try to avoid them, but like you just gotta pick your battles, and if he screws up at a place, if he spesses up, yeah, take the opportunity to take a chance to pass him. But you just gotta be smart around people like that. I mean, there are people that I race around with, like Fizzy, Sabbath, and Steph that I race with. That I have a good idea of who I'm racing with. I know what to expect from them, and I race pretty clean around them. But when you race around someone like that, and you don't know what's gonna happen, it's like, well, say your prayers and hopefully come out in the next corner alive, because he might just take you out.
Well, with that said, no points tonight, but still good racing out there. I mean, you managed to finish. That's a plus.
Yes.
Given that there were definitely a few big drivers out there who didn't. I'd walk away with your head held high tonight, Murphy.
Well, thanks, Tipster. I mean, I will say, earlier today in the F4 race, I did win that race, so I do want to mention that. So it's not a downer of a day for me. So, but pretty bittersweet, given all the circumstances. But I'll take it.
Well, we hope you'll be back for next week for Interlagos for whatever ensues there, because by the sound of it, it's gonna be a fun one.
Oh, it always is.
We'll see you there, Murphy. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Tipster.
Murphy, everybody, currently P15 overall, and has definitely upped their game over the past few races. Consistent points finishes. Tonight, unfortunately, P11 as it stands. We've got one final driver to talk to, and a bit of an announcement to make to them. Fizzymon, who finished in 4th tonight on track and is guaranteed 3rd place in the standings overall. Fizzy, how was it out there tonight?
Oh, it was something. The race, the first half of the qualifying and the race just didn't go as planned. Qualifying especially was just not good. Waited a little long, so I had to go to the bathroom to go start my medium runs, and then my first soft run was not too great. Second one, I did 2 back-to-back laps. I backed out of the first one and then invalidated the second one, and as a result, like, I kind of threw away like a 14.6 or something, and I can do faster than that, but it cost me a couple positions come start. And then in the race, just in the intermediate conditions, I just didn't have the pace that like the other guys had in front of me. I mean, I was running 8th or a decent amount of that, and the pace these guys had in the intermediates, I just couldn't match. Just struggled the whole time through. But obviously knew the track was going to dry up, knew the rain was going to stop, and when it did, made the most of it. Had a fantastic little battle with Lars there. And then after the safety car came out and that restart, had a heck of a battle with Maicon and tried to see if I could run down Zhao, but unfortunately just lost too much time to him because I had to use my battery getting up to where I was. So P4, I'll take it. It's how many P4s now in the season? It's like 8 or something. So I think that should just be my position now, to be honest.
Yeah, you've been consistently 4th pretty much every other race by the look of it.
Yeah.
But it's still points, and it's still good points, and it's been enough to put you in 3rd overall. So going into Interlagos next week, obviously Drivers' Championship 3rd is locked up. What is your aim next week? What are your expectations?
Well, I think we also just locked up P2 in the constructors with Igor not finishing and Shentar all the way in the back, because we had 54 points to them going into this race, and if my math's correct, I outscored them this race. So
66 the gap now. So yeah, that is confirmed. Constructors 2nd as well.
So yeah, I'm just gonna go for it, have fun. Try my best. I mean, Interlagos is a track that I've never been great at compared to other drivers. Recently, I've gotten better. But the one major thing that all the drivers have to deal with is overheating. The fronts will like to overheat a lot, and if you can control that, or at least manage it really well, you can keep up a lot higher of a level of pace than everyone else. So I'm gonna do what I can for that race, have fun. Maybe I can get on the podium, maybe not. Who knows? It's a home track for a bunch of our drivers, so I know they're gonna be coming back strong and looking to have it, and I know the Jan and Flavia battle is huge, so I'm gonna do what I can to, maybe get some really good points, maybe get on the podium, disrupt stuff. But my goal is not to ruin either of their races when it comes to the championship. So if one of them clearly is gonna try to get around me, and he's clearly a little bit faster, and the other one's right in front of me, like, well, I'll let him have it. So yeah, just have fun, and we'll see how it goes.
Well, what else can I say? It was quite a rocky start for you, but finishing P4 tonight. Any final words before we go into the Lagos?
Hey, I'm on the podium for the driver standings. Probably my best league race of the season so far. So very happy, and stay tuned for next week because it's going to be even more fun.
Well, I'll leave you to your champagne. Fizzymon, everybody, confirmed 3rd place in the Drivers' Championship. And I believe we have one final driver to speak to, and it's gonna be a difficult one. Lars, what happened out there tonight?
Yeah, so it was actually in qualifying. I felt like I was really fast because I would have got 2nd if I didn't invalidate my lap. So yeah, qualifying was perfect for me. I don't know why. This track is just really good for me. But yeah, then in the rain, I was kind of lacking some pace as well. I was still keeping up with the 2 guys in front of me. But then I spun myself coming out of the kind of chicane. I think it was the chicane. Yeah, I think it was the chicane. So I spun somewhere, and then I lost my wing, and so pretty much had to pit, which was also kind of lucky because it was actually the crossover point for dries.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah.
That was a very, very well-timed wing check.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I wasn't planning on actually pitting for mediums or just dry tires in general. So kind of lucky at the same time. Pretty unfortunate that I lost so much time on everyone up in front of me. But yeah, and with the dry tires, the pace was really good. Was definitely faster than I expected. But then eventually had an incident with Carlo, so yeah, that's pretty unfortunate, but still there's some positives. I know that I'm pretty fast on this track, so yeah, that's pretty good.
Well, I mean, your fastest lap out there is up there with the best of them. Third or 4th, kind of where you were placing with those lap times on the mediums.
Oh,
Yeah. So obviously the incident with Carlo, it's something that I've heard about from the drivers gallery. No doubt there's going to be a steward's inquiry into it. What actually happened from your standpoint there?
So it first happened actually the last 2 corners. I think he spun, I don't know what corners, but before the chicane he spun, and me and Fizzy both caught up to him pretty fast because he was driving pretty slow and he probably overheated his tires. So coming into the second to last corner, I went on his outside pretty much, and we actually made it together, but then he pushed me a little bit more to the right, so I had to go onto the gravel and the curb, so my right wheels were on the gravel. So yeah, I already lost a lot of time because of that. And then the next lap, I actually lost position to Fizzy because of that back on the straight. And then the next lap, I tried to overtake him in the first corner. I was on the outside again, and I left him a lot of space, and he just kind of, I guess, went too deep because he kind of hit me on the left side. So I had to go onto the gravel again, and I guess I accelerated a little bit too fast and just spun on the gravel and hit the wall.
Well, it does mean that unfortunately no race finished tonight.
Yeah.
And that said, your P5 Drivers' Championship, you're 14 points behind Igor with 1 race to go, and you're far enough ahead of Giovanni that they can't catch you. What are your hopes going into Interlagos? Let's look towards the future.
Yeah. I definitely hope that I can just overtake Igor in the championship, because he's pretty. Me, Fizzy, and Igor are pretty much the same pace. Today Igor was really fast, so I don't know. I could have stayed with them, might not, but yeah, for the future, I think in Brazil I hope I can at least finish in front of him. Outscore him by 14 points is gonna be difficult for sure, because I probably have to finish third, and he has to retire if I want to pass him. Yeah, or just first or second, and he finishes like somewhere low in the points. So yeah, I definitely hope I can pass him in the championship, but if not, it's fine as well. I definitely enjoyed the battles with him and Fizzy, so yeah.
Well, it's not the result you wanted tonight, but look forward to next week. Let's look forward to Interlagos. We'll see you there.
Definitely.
And have a good week, Lars.
Thank you. You too.
Last there, unfortunately involved in an incident with Carlo and crashed out of the race with 15 left to go. So, all said, quite an eventful race tonight. Let's see what it's done to the standings. To the standings. There we go. So Lucas Yarn extends their lead to 18 points at the top of the league there. Flavio on 311, so they are going to need either first or second next week for any chance of that top spot. And for Lucas Yarn to score very low in next week's race at Interlagos. Fizzymon confirmed third place finisher in the driver's standings, 157. We just heard from them there tonight. Cannot be caught. Then Igor and Lars, both unfortunately unable to finish. Gap stays the same. Likewise, Giovanni finishing a lap down in P14. Steph, however, 6th place tonight. 6th place, which gives them a massive 8 points when all is said and done. Apologies, my face is melting. 8 points when all is said and done, meaning that they have passed both Jackie Jack and Axel in the standings, their teammate. Then Sabbath, who finished in 5th, just ahead of them tonight, on 58 points. So, quite the battle for P7 going on at the minute between Steph, Axel, Jackie and Sabbath. Only 6 points separating them. Then we have Piana, who finished in 3rd position, moves all the way up to P11, overtaking Tazik in the standings, who we heard from earlier. Tazik managing to score 7th place and 6 points after penalties, which keeps them very firmly in 12th. So firmly, in fact, that they are now 15 points ahead of Shentar. Maicon, brand new driver to Ferrari, takes home 2 points tonight, moves them up, keeps them in position in 14th, but puts them 3 points behind Shentar. Then Murphy, who unfortunately finished just outside the points tonight. Bulldog, who finished in P10, takes home 1 point, which moves them up to P16 ahead of Firefox. Then, finally, our next big mover, we have Carlo, who ended in 8th, 4 points for them, moves them up to 6. With a big asterisk next to that, pending steward's inquiry. I've already heard of 2 or 3 people looking at launching stewards inquiries into into incidents with Carlo this race. That may change. We'll have to see next week. Let's see what has happened with the constructor standings. Aston Martin breaking the 600 mark, 640. As we heard earlier, Alpine now unbeatable on 206, 66 points ahead of McLaren. AlphaTauri really surging up the league the past few races. 114, just 26 points separate them and McLaren. They could theoretically take third next race. They could overtake McLaren. 5 points behind them is Haas, who AlphaTauri managed to overtake tonight. Red Bull not scoring. Alfa Romeo, Sabbath scoring points for them. 10 points for Sabbath there and Alfa Romeo. Mercedes taking 4, so Alfa Romeo pulling away. And then at the bottom, Williams, non-scorers tonight, with Ferrari catching up with a 9-10 finish. Just 3 points separating them in the championship now. And that's pretty much everything from us tonight. All that's left to say is thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for to our drivers for tonight's entertainment. Thank you very much to our sponsors as well, to SIMSOK, who apparently Fizzy is getting a pair of driving socks this Christmas. Driver61, huge shout out to them for sponsoring tonight's stream as well with their esports coaching sessions. And finally to Elgato for their stream deck, without whom this stream would not be possible, because I couldn't pull off half of the technical MacGuffinry that you see tonight without one. That's pretty much all from us tonight. One more race to go. So until the final next week, a presto and drive safe.
Apex Online Racing is sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely stream deck. For more information about the stream deck, the link is in the description below.